3v3 faction war. This is Argus Desert Gate and Eldar versus Tyranids. Game 1. First up for the Eldar team is Illethor. Plays an Eldar Warlock mobile commander, fights in melee combat, really great disruption as well. Can also tank damage with the right war gear alongside. Is GiDDoLo. Plays a Warp Spider Exarch, starts off in range combat, really great for capping and harassing early on with awesome crowd control and other annoyances later. A teleporting commander. And rounding off the blue team is Caeltos, lead designer of Elite Mod. Plays an Eldar Farseer, support commander that fights in melee combat, lots of great buffs with some debuffs and crowd control too. Red team for the Tyranids, Dark Riku is an Lictor Alpha, melee specialist that can infiltrate and disrupt. Great offense and a little bit of support too. Looks like he's on a solo lane against that Eldar Farseer. Alongside Ace of Swords is a Raven Alpha Talon commander with great mobility, can also put out some good damage. Starts off range combat. And Floid rounds us off as a big stumpy Hive Tyrant, very durable commander, walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. Good offense, disruption and support. Begins with a basic synapse. There's a Destructor. 2 versus 2 at the top, as often happens on Argus Desert Gates. Tyranids advancing. What can they do against these Tyranids? I think huge walls of ranged fire is the way to go against triple Tyranids. It's so risky to try and use these Banshees. They do a lot of damage of course, but such a fragile unit against triple Tyranids is a big risk, and a good engagement looks like for Caeltos on the west side. Forcing off Dark Riku's army, can now take that contested power and maybe even hit this node. Meanwhile on the east side, Tyranids pushing hard. Walks the Exarch in melee combat with a Hive Tyrant, not where he wants to be. Lots of shurikens I think are needed here. Just so many models on the field, all supported by those capillary towers in tier 2 of course. Wonder if the Hive Tyrant will go for improved synapse. He does have his rendered talons up. Illethor does have a Guardian weapon team on the way. That will be a shuriken cannon. These Dire Avengers in the garrison. Here comes Spore Mines though, very good against garrisoned units. And these guys getting away, and down goes the Hive Tyrant. Nicely done. 481 500. Floyd just keeping his guy out in the field a bit too long, microing his Spore Mines I think. Whoops, Exarch also forced off. Spore Mines getting a detonation on the Dire Avengers, forcing them to fall back. Since that thing suppresses, getting one detonation usually means you're going to get another one, so you need to fall back. Hormagaunts taking their natural victory point back. Caeltos capping up the west side, destroying some barrels for some reason. Warrior Brood on the field for Dark Riku, providing a basic synapse to his Hormagaunts and Termagants. Since he's not a Hive Tyrant, he needs warriors to provide the synapse in tier 1. Keeping them as a melee unit at the moment. Doesn't have the resources to give them a Barb Strangler if that's what he wants. I would think that's what he wants, but you never know. No Toxin Sacs up. We do have Adrenal Glands though on the Hormagaunts, increasing their damage and allowing them to leap after targets, which is what you're seeing here. Caeltos is most likely going to be forced off there surely. Meanwhile, east side, Shuriken sets up behind this heavy cover. Hive Tyrant in full retreat, bashing stuff over, was just revived by the Ravener Alpha I assume. Yes, he's also in retreat. Where are his tunnels? There's one. All of your allies can use them, but only 4 units at a time can be inside a Ravener tunnel, much like Webway Gates and such. 445 500. It's a 2-to-1 for the Tyranid team, but Eldar are retaking the east side. Dire Avengers closing in for grenades. I think they should save those grenades for when the Hormagaunts run at them. That's what I would do anyway. Howling Banshees backing off. This has been decapped. Shuriken now coming into play, suppressing stuff. Unfortunately, they don't have a Farseer on this side to buff the damage and range of that thing. Ravener Brood burrow striking. Start off as a power melee unit with that awesome destructive burrow strike you saw there. Shuriken backs away though and resets up. Banshees moving in to hold things up, but they're going to be decimated on retreat, and down they go. There is the fragility of Howling Banshees. So hard to use them I think against triple Tyranids. Hormagaunts are so dangerous. Look at these guys. Forcing off the Shuriken, just overwhelmed by numbers. Not sure where GiDDoLo was during that. Was he up there? Oh, he's on the west side. So Caeltos is moving east to support. They have pushed the west side back quite nicely, but Illethor took heavy losses there, losing models off his Guardian weapon team, which will take power to reinforce and losing a complete Howling Banshee squad, which not only is a big loss, that's feeding XP to these Tyranids, and as Synapse creatures level up, their Synapse gets stronger. 440, 487. Raven Alpha tied up by the Warps of Exarch and backs away, but is still in play here. Hive Tyrant coming mid. Howling Banshees with the aspect of fleetness for GiDDoLo. Gives them the 30% increase in health and the war shout in tier 1 as well as fleet of foot, but he's caught by Riku's Tyranids. A nice little flank in from the west side there. More Howling Banshees though, these are Caeltoses, and he can support them with his Farseer. Has the Armour of Fortune up, which is on them, and Guide is on them as well, so they have a damage buff and a damage resistance buff, but they are forced off eventually. They did very well though, the Banshees. I guess the Farseer is the best option to use Banshees against his triple Tyranids. Dire Avengers forced off by Warrior Brood. The Warriors and the Hormagaunts doing so well here. Dire Avengers wiped out by a retreat path. Seismic Roar. The extended carapace also up for Floid. 436, 478. Tier 2 for GiDDoLo, tier 2 for Caeltos. Looks like that was one of his Dire Avenger squads wiped out. They have this contested power though fully. Looks like Riku just wants to destroy it. Or is he going to steal it? He's bashing gens. And he has... oh, this is Ace, sorry. They have quite similar colour schemes. But Riku is here with his Termagants, with Toxin Sacks. Ace with his ranged Raveners, with their Devourers up. Floyd pushing through the mid, but doesn't try and decap the VP. Destructor killing a couple of Termagants, but who's really worried about that? Warrior Brood down to around half hit points, and a Brood Nest is up here, allowing nearby allies to reinforce, giving them a little bit of health regeneration as well. There's a grenade again. Really think they should be saving those things for Tyranid charges. These Hormagaunts are doing so much work. Those grenades might help keep them at bay. Almost taken down the Warlock there. He has his Merciless Witchblade and Champion's Robe. I would have thought he'd wait for his Witchblade of Kernus against Tyranids. Banshees in huge amounts of trouble for Caeltos with their aspect of fleetness are forced off. Here are GiDDoLo's Banshees. Again caught by a multitude of units, but they do get away okay. That Crippling Poison is a big pain in the ass for Banshees. Their mobility is something they rely on so much, and Crippling Poison is such an awesome snare. 436, 434, a beautiful grenade there. Was that Caeltos? I think it was. Killed a Warrior Brood model, but here comes another Brood Nest to support this push. Blue team under serious amounts of pressure here by the Tyranids, and now everyone going tier 2. Caeltos has some Dark Reapers on the field. Long range Inferno damage. Those guys will put a lot of pressure on the Warrior Broods. Do pretty well against the commanders as well. Support them with Guide also, they'll be pretty nasty. They are quite expensive to upgrade though, and he is getting the aspect which buffs their damage passively and gives them pinning fire, which will add a lot to their utility against the Tyranids. Can suppress warriors or Hormagaunts running in. This Brood Nest is going to go down. The unfortunate thing about Eldar is they don't have a way to kind of stop the Hive Tyrant in his tracks, apart from really late game stuff like Phase Shift and Time Field. They don't have any tier 1 stuns that I can recall offhand. Suppression obviously doesn't stop the big guy. And these Howling Banshees are going to chop up this Brood Nest, and they're going to try and steal this central power, I think. And they didn't pay for those generators, so that'll be good. And can they decap this VP as well? Good pushback here. Tunnel up here from Ace of Swords, another one there. And another one there. Floyd is pushing towards the east now. Falcon is up for GiDDoLo. A good choice, I think. Allows him to stay at range, get some shots in, and support all of his Eldar allies with some reinforcement. Not cheap though, so needs to look after that thing. 407, 408 Warlock. Tanking damage and pushing. I guess that's why he went for this build. He wants something on the field that can take hits and hold up the Tyranid army. Still going after these. I thought he was going to go after the Warrior Brood. Shuriken Cannon forcing off the Hive Tyrant. They can chase him down, surely take him out. Yes, GiDDoLo's Banshees and Caeltos' Banshees in there, who both now have their Exarch. Gets those 2 power swords. 388408. Mid is kind of quiet. Riku's going to push down the west side and hit power, is he? Or is he just going to go after these Dire Avengers? These guys in huge amounts of trouble here. A well-timed grenade and a retreat, maybe. No, just a retreat, and they are going to get away, I think. The Farseer using fleet to run away there. Eldar pushing hard on the east side. What is GiDDoLo doing with these Falcon, though? 373408. Needs to back away. Banshee's getting out of it. He's still moving forward. What is he up to? He's going after the zone throw, obviously, but this is a huge risk. There's a Tyrant Guard there. There's a Warrior Brood there with Adrenal Glands giving him heavy melee damage, and that's a dead Falcon. And that is a huge misplay from GiDDoLo. Didn't even take down the zone throw. Didn't even get close to it. And down goes the Falcon. Huge mistake, I think. Tyrant Guard. Such an awesome unit. 2,500 hit points of super heavy infantry armor. A lot of DPS. And a charge and a self-heal on this guy. Does rely a lot on Synapse though to be effective. Very, very slow without it. Bunch more Eldar stuff dying. Dark Creepers get away with 2 models. The Warlock's going to go down. Look at the amount of stuff here. I think they needed more Shurikens. Yeah, Illethor's getting another one. I think GiDDoLo needed to get 1 or 2 himself. And he's down to just Banshees now. Bizarre Falcon blade. Not sure what happened there. Maybe he lost control of it or something. Vehicles can be a bit tricky to use in Dawn of War 2, but he's got another Falcon up and some more Dire Avengers on the way. He's got a lot of red as well. Nukes might be very important for Eldar in the Tyranids faction war. 366408. Tyranids looking incredibly strong. Now look at their rosters. The Hormagaunts have done superbly well in this game. Level 2, level 1, and this guy almost level 2 also. Warrior Broods with Adrenal Glands, and also for Floid. 352408. Falcon backing away this time. Has taken a couple of shots though. There is a Venom Brood up for Ace and Riku, sorry, and when you combine that with the Zone Throat snares, you get very, very strong anti-vehicle. Banshee's moving in for Caeltos with Fortune up, tanking damage quite well there with Fortune, as you can see. But they're going to die here, I think. Caught by Hormagaunts in retreat. No, saved by the levitation field, and they do get away just about. Falcon taking shots at the Lictor Alpha now. It's level 3 with feeder tendrils and a deadly jump. 313408. Raven Alpha with acid splatter, reinforced Chitin and Synapse Aura for damage. Ouch. Tyrant Guard's going to finish off the Falcon. Rear arm hit doesn't finish it off, just about gets away. Wow, 18 hit points. I think it does around 95 heavy melee per hit, this guy. And it has a splash. The splash isn't that much, but still incredibly painful to fight in melee combat. 293408. Gene Stealer's on the field for Floid. He loves using these guys. Very powerful melee squad, especially when supported by melee Synapse, which is pretty much required, I think, for these guys. Pretty silly to get them without melee Synapse. Just makes them so much better. 278408. Tyranids looking pretty strong, though blue team have creeped up the west side thanks to Caeltos and is now bashing power. Just look at those rosters for the Tyranids though, filling up, going tier 3 now as well. Illethor and GiDDoLo also going tier 3. I think Fire Prisms are their only hope here, and they need multiple Fire Prisms as well. One is not going to cut it. Wraithlord on the field for Caeltos though. Let's see what this guy can do, doing big splash damage to those Raveners. Here comes the Tyrant Guard who now goes into shield wall. There's the Zone Throat snare. Look how hard that snare is on the Wraithlord. From long range as well, Bright Lance getting shots on the Tyrant Guard. Shield wall does give it vehicle armor. Wraithlord still charging around, smacking stuff in the face. Needs to go after Synapse creatures, obviously. Floyd in full retreat. Falcon still around. Tyrant Guard now back on its feet. Gonna go after that Falcon, I would think. Bright Lance doing tons of DPS to this guy. And Wraithlord doing well, forcing off a bunch of Tyranids. Tyrant Guard going after the Falcon, but should be taken down. There we go. You get 50 red for taking down the Tyrant Guard, so that's not bad. Can they push through and decap mid? Looks like the Warlock's going top, and there's a Capillary Tower, very sneaky one from Floid. Another one here. Another one here, boosting the speed and sight radius of Tyranids. Look at them. Big path of them coming out of base, and none of them have been destroyed that I've seen. Another one up here. They did give a decent amount of XP, and brute nests and tunnels all over the place, completely changing the battlefield, these Tyranids. Riku pushing down the west. Venom Brood with that range synapse now, boosting the damage and health of these Termagants. He also has the health regen synapse of the Zone Throat to support all his stuff. 148408. Huge VP deficit for the Eldar team to make up level 4 Lictor Alpha. Warlock's level 3, fully kitted out now, has the Heart of Darkness to complete that build. Warps of Exarch level 3, improved targeters and improved warp generator. And Farseer's level 3 with Gravity Blade and Runes of Reaping, so she can use her Guide and her Fortune more often. 148403. Falcon with its energy field up. Big engagement mid. Wraithlord is keeping the Eldar in this game, I think, going after the Zone Throat, but it does get away now. Turns to engage Hormagaunts. That's a singularity. That is GiDDoLo's D cannon. And it's going to get these Tyranids, I think. 148388 didn't go off. Oh, it was forced off. Or was it destroyed? Or did it get into this thing? Yes, it got into the Falcon, so it couldn't complete the singularity. 148381. East side kicking off. Floid pushing. Has a Doom of Malantite on the field. Powerful super unit sub-commander that can deal with clumps of infantry very, very well. Excellent versus Terminators and Avatars and Great Unclean Ones as well. Raven Alpha backing away. Still has the Acid Splatter. He's on his way to level 5. Look at the damage that shoulder mounted Shuriken does. 46 piercing DPS. It really packs a punch. Carnifex with a Barb Strangler for Ace of Swords. Smack. Can he take out the Raven Alpha? No, he can't. Carnifex forcing melee combat on the Wraithlord, and this is a dead Wraithlord, I think. Yeah, Zone Throat Snare. Here come Warrior Brood with Adrenal Glands and Venom Brood. That is definitely a dead Wraithlord, just overextended there by Caeltos. Singularity should be easily dodged by the Tyranids. Down goes the Wraithlord. Yep, Singularity didn't hit anything. D cannon with huge amounts of range. Look at that. 125 378. Zone Throat backing away. Falcon almost level 2. There's an Eldritch Storm on the Carnifex. Can they take it down with this? And GiDDoLo runs his Falcon into the Eldritch Storm. Not the smartest move. Tempest Launcher for the Dark Creepers firing in. Caeltos now going tier 3. Swarm Lord though on the way from Riku. And look at the amount of Tyranids just swarming over the Eldar. Carnifex survives a very nice singularity. Good grief. Did it kill anything though? Did it wipe anything? I'm not sure if it did. Falcon is going to die here. Or not. Up goes the shield, saving it. 115368. Tyrant formation in retreat path. Wiping out those Dark Creepers out. Beautifully timed by Floid. 115365. Those Gene Stealers, with this amount of support, they're so dangerous. Level 2 with Rending Claws. Eldar do have the Eastern VP, but they're losing a natural. It's going to be a 2-to-1 for the Tyranids. Fire Prism is up for Illethor. They need more of these things though. Caeltos down to his Howling Banshees, who somehow have got to level 3 in this game. The other 2 Banshee squads being destroyed. 107365 Floid with a Venom Cannon Carnifex. Good for large targets. Also gives it the Bioplasma, which can be good. A bit of a hit and miss ability. Doesn't always seem to fly and land where you tell it to. Lictor Alpha is that? Yes, it's going to cap the east side. No sign of any tier 3 Lictors, and more Dire Avengers on the way for Caeltos. He has the red to use an Eldritch Storm, which could be telling here. Falcon chasing down the Carnifex. Very, very riskily pushing forward there. Hive Tyrant's level 3. There's that Doom of Malantite. Has a life leeching basic attack, much like the Zone Throat. Doesn't do as much damage as the Zone Throat, but does regain health if it hits models. And this is a dead Falcon. What is he doing pushing it forward there? There's an Eldritch Storm from Caeltos. Hits the Carnifex, but there's nothing there to follow it up. Doom of Malantite took a lot of damage as well. Puts up its energy shield. Another singularity is that, I think. 66, 365, but way out of the way of anything. Plasma grenade goes in. Nicely done. One, but the Fire Prism taken down. That Zone Throat snare just at the right time. Is another Capillary Tower. 60, 365. Was that a Capillary Tower? I guess it was a Tyrant formation. Wow. Absolute destruction on the Eldar. Look at their rosters. Just blink, models just blinking out of there. See a council on the way for Illethor. Not going to help him out though. 60, 365. The Tyranids are going to take this game surely. They're not decapping here. Swarmlord is up for Riku. Super unit for Tyranids allows you to reinforce allies around it. Also gives a awesome speed buff synapse, which affects everything, I'm pretty sure. Eldritch Storm again. Didn't hit anything though. Unlucky. I think that was Illethor trying to take out those termagants. Here is City Council though. Warlock is forced off. The Farseer in a fight with the Raven Alpha trying to cap the east side. These guys still not capping. 41, 365 is a single cap for the Tyranids. It's been their game for a long time though. Eldar just about holding on for the last 10 minutes or so it seems. And they now are capping. 31, 365. D-Cannon sets up, as does a Shuriken. They needed a lot more Shurikens early game, I think. They were just overwhelmed from the start. There's that awesome Barb Strangler shot from Ace of Swords Carnifex. He also has a Venom Cannon himself. Just completely overwhelmed on this east side now. And there's the triple cap, and there is game one for the Tyranids. Strong performance. I'm not sure what the heck GiDDoLo was doing with his Falcon earlier on, but other than that, there wasn't any huge misplays, I don't think, from the Eldar players. He just got caught and overwhelmed too often. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.